Imagine being 6 months pregnant, while still tending to 23 children, each one a tiny life that depends on you, yet every day another child is born into the same relentless cycle. Your body is a battlefield, your womb a symbol of duty, not choice. For centuries, queens lived like this, trapped in a ceaseless treadmill of pregnancy, childbirth, and grief, often losing more children than they could hold in their arms. Married off as teenagers, these women were expected to bear child after child, hand them over to nurses, and return almost immediately to the royal bedchamber, ready to begin again. Their pain was silent, their exhaustion hidden behind jewels and silk. Every birth was a gamble with life itself, for the mother and the child, and yet the world saw only their crowns and their glory. Today, women have the freedom to decide when and how many children to have, with rest, healthcare, and recovery. Back then, endless pregnancies were not a choice, they were a duty. The physical toll was devastating, and the queen's womb was a battlefield where every birth carried life or death stakes. Before we explore the shocking stories of the 8 queens who bore more children than most of us could imagine, comment below, which queen's struggle shocks you the most? Subscribe to the channel to uncover the hidden suffering and untold truths behind royal glory. For centuries, royal women carried the weight of empires on their shoulders. Every marriage was a political alliance. Every birth was a strategic victory. A queen who failed to produce heirs risked disgrace, exile, or even death. Yet behind the gold and silk, the ritual and ceremony, was a relentless truth: the body of a queen was not her own. It belonged to the dynasty, to the court, and to the whims of power. Pregnancy wasn't a blessing, it was a duty enforced by politics, tradition, and expectation. These women endured cycles of childbirth and grief, each loss a silent wound beneath their carefully crafted crowns. Their lives were proof that absolute power came at the cost of bodily autonomy. Born in 1593 to Persian nobles, Mumtaz Mahal married the future Emperor Shah Jahan at 19. Though he had other political wives, Mumtaz held his heart and his trust. She traveled with him on military campaigns and advised him on matters of state. Together, they had 14 children, only 7 of whom survived to adulthood. Her final childbirth became a tragic legend. After 30 hours of labor delivering her 14th child, Gohar, she bled to death. The emperor's grief transformed into the Taj Mahal, a monument to love shadowed by relentless duty and loss. Her story embodies the intertwined beauty and brutality of motherhood in royal life. The children who survived were themselves shaped by her endurance. Jahanara Begum became influential in politics, while her sons would contend for succession. Even in death, Mumtaz's legacy of love, duty, and sacrifice rippled through history. Born a German princess in 1744, Charlotte married King George III at 17. Over 21 years, she bore 15 children, enduring constant pregnancies while maintaining a calm family life. Each birth taxed her body and spirit, yet she preserved dignity and care for her family. She despised the endless cycle, writing during her 14th pregnancy, "I don't think a prisoner could wish more ardently for his liberty than I wish to be rid of my burden." Smallpox claimed 2 of her sons, leaving lasting grief and shaping her protective nature over her surviving daughters. Despite suffering, she used maternal influence strategically, delaying marriages, sparing her daughters from repeated pregnancies, and guiding their education. Charlotte died at 74, surrounded by many children, a queen who balanced love, duty, and unbearable personal cost. Married at 13 to Edward I, Eleanor bore 16 children, enduring teenage pregnancies that claimed many of her earliest babies. She accompanied Edward on military campaigns, giving birth while traveling, her body pushed to unimaginable limits. Tragedy and loss marked her life. Several children died young, yet she persevered in her duties as wife, mother, and political partner. Exhaustion and illness ultimately claimed her at 48, during a march in northern England. Edward honored her with 12 stone crosses along her funeral route, a public acknowledgement of private suffering. Eleanor's story is a testament to maternal sacrifice intertwined with royal duty. Her body bore the empire's ambitions, her heart endured the cost, and history remembers the queen through both glory and grief. Keran, daughter of a Turkish prince, married King Leo II of Armenia and bore 16 children, including 3 sets of twins. Political intrigue and violence claimed several of her offspring, leaving her emotionally shattered while her body remained under relentless strain. Ultimately, exhaustion drove her into retirement at a monastery, where she died in 1285. Her story reveals the fragility behind power, the toll of repeated childbirth, grief, and dynastic responsibility. Even queens, it seems, cannot escape the cruel arithmetic of history. Motherhood and survival often clash with politics, leaving women to endure pain in silence. Born in 1717, Maria Theresa married Francis I and bore 16 children in 19 years, while holding the real reins of political power. She endured betrayal, smallpox outbreaks, and the relentless demands of dynastic succession. Her surviving children became tools of empire. Strategic marriages strengthened her realm, while others fell to disease. Yet Maria Theresa remained a force of reform and resilience, navigating politics and motherhood with calculated precision. Even under personal suffering, her endurance shaped Europe's history, proving that power and maternal sacrifice could coexist, but at enormous cost. Maria Carolina inherited her mother's extraordinary reproductive stamina. She gave birth to 17 children, many of whom died young. Despite her distaste for constant pregnancies, she wielded authority, arranging her surviving children in strategic marriages and acting decisively during Napoleonic invasions. Her life ended abruptly at 62, leaving a legacy of maternal strength entwined with political acumen. Maria Carolina's story shows that even when queens survived childbirth, the consequences of relentless duty left permanent marks on their bodies and lives. And daughter of James II, married Prince George of Denmark. Over 16 years, she endured 18 pregnancies, losing nearly all her children to miscarriage, stillbirth, or early death. Her 7th child, William, Duke of Gloucester, survived to 11 but died young. Anne's emotional and physical health deteriorated under this relentless strain, a queen whose womb bore both hope and heartbreak for the dynasty. Even in grief, Anne's perseverance reflects the heavy burden placed on royal women, their value measured by progeny rather than intellect or courage. Darajan married King Heraclius II at 12 and bore 23 children over 30 years. 13 survived, but succession disputes and political strife engulfed her family. She attempted to secure power for her sons, igniting rivalries that would lead to her arrest and exile to Russia. Darajan spent her final years under surveillance, dying in 1807 at 69. Her life illustrates the intersection of motherhood, politics, and dynastic ambition, showing that even queens' bodies were instruments of empire. Frequent pregnancies and short recovery periods took a devastating toll. Modern medicine identifies anemia, uterine prolapse, weakened immunity, and increased maternal mortality as consequences. Infant mortality was also high without vaccines or prenatal care. In these queens' eras, medical knowledge was minimal. Bleeding, purges, and superstition often worsened conditions. Their bodies were overworked, their lives often shortened, and their health sacrificed to lineage and politics. Even today, the global maternal mortality rate is about 211 deaths per 100,000 live births, 2017, drastically lower than in royal history but a reminder of the enduring risks of childbirth. Today, women often choose how many children to bear. The global fertility rate is roughly 2.3 children per woman, vastly different from the extremes endured by royal women. Advances in medicine, contraception, and societal choice empower women to reclaim bodily autonomy. Reports show that maternal health, infant survival, and family well-being are prioritized. In contrast, royal women's bodies were tools of dynastic survival, their desires irrelevant. The stories of these 8 queens highlight the stark difference between imposed duty and chosen motherhood. From 23 children to 2, how freedom changes everything. The lives of these queens show the crushing weight of dynastic duty. Their wombs were battlefields, their children both treasures and pawns. Gold, power, and palaces could not protect them from the physical and emotional toll of continuous childbirth. Yet they persevered, demonstrating resilience and strategic intelligence. Maria Theresa arranged political marriages. Eleanor of Aquitaine survived crusades. Queen Darajan navigated exile. Motherhood and power intertwined, creating women who were both revered and consumed by duty. Even today, we can reflect on the value of choice, bodily autonomy, and compassion. These queens' sacrifices serve as reminders of what happens when duty eclipses humanity. The echoes of these women's lives reach us across centuries. Their wombs, their pain, their loss, all were instruments in empire's games. Their stories are tragic reminders of how personal sacrifice is often invisible in history. Modern society has made choices to prevent such extremes. Women can plan pregnancies, access healthcare, and prioritize survival and well-being. Yet the resonance of these queens' lives remains. The human cost of ambition, power, and expectation is timeless. Think of Mumtaz Mahal's 14th labor ending in death, or Darajan's 23 children amidst political exile. Each story is a testament to endurance and loss, showing that motherhood, even in its noblest form, can be a crucible of pain. Comment below, which queen's story touched you the most? Share this video to let others witness the hidden sacrifices of royal women. And subscribe to uncover more forgotten histories. These stories deserve to be remembered. They gave life, at the cost of their own. No one told you how heavy a crown could be,